So, welcome. So, interesting topic today, God and the movie Avatar. This is for people who may have a little trouble wrapping their mind around who is God, what is God's function in this world. The Avatar movie is amazingly accurate as far as I'm concerned. What I've studied and experienced in relationship to this great mystery called God. God actually means great mystery, very mysterious. So anyway, this in this Avatar movie, there's this tree. It's called the All Souls tree. So all souls return into this big magnificent tree. It contains all souls. So when people die, they the people on Pandora, that's the island where this planet where these people, these natives, highly evolved natives lived, even though they lived in a very simple and primitive way, they're highly evolved spiritually. So they believed that all souls would go back into this tree, which was the heart of their planet. Now, it's interesting, in India, in the Vedic scriptures, there's a reference to God as being the name of God being Vishnu, who just happens to be the reservoir of all souls. Like all souls come from this Vishnu expansion of God. So I don't know if James Cameron got it like that directly by studying the Vedas, or he just actually got it on the inside of this kind of connection. So what I've actually found personally from studying different things and observing things in my life is there's many universal connections that could be called truth of the way things actually are working together in this world. It's not like what a lot of people may want to believe if they are attached to a particular religion, that God is only here for those who convert to their religion, whether it's Islam or Christianity. It's really not like that. Often there are different teachings coming through different cultures that are teaching the same concept of the same truth, but often using different words or different analogies. So we have a practical way of seeing actually what God's function is by looking at this all souls tree. You can also look at the analogy of that is given in the Vedic scriptures of this great person, being called God or Vishnu, who contains all souls. So it's basically the same conception, okay? and pretty much teaching the same function, both in the movie as well as in the Vedic teaching, as well as in the Bible too. So when one gets like a handle on this, you can start to see the universal connections between this conception of who God is in these different teachings. So in the All Souls tree, when everybody dies, they go back into this All Souls tree. In the Vishnu conception of who God is and his function is, from this God comes everything and everybody. And then actually the whole creation is wound back into God, into this Vishnu form. And so it's basically more or less the same idea. It's also taught as the same kind of function that God has in the movie, in the analogy given in the Vedas, and also in the Bible. The same kind of function. And it's something that ordinarily a human being cannot have a handle on or do. It's something special. Okay? So in Bhagavad Gita, this is another book from the Vedas, it's taught that that God comes here either himself or in the form of a representative, an empowered personality, to set things straight when everything kind of gets too far off and no one else can handle the job. So he actually comes here personally or through a representative, an empowered representative. Okay? It's like when Jesus said, um, I don't remember the exact verse, but I read this morning. He said that he who believes in my word and believes in him who sent me is liberated morally. Something like that. He is set free. He's given eternal life. See? So, in other words, when things need to be set right, or some special mercy or grace is given to this planet, often the Lord comes himself. That's what is believed in the teaching that Krishna, who was considered the father, actually came here to accomplish certain things that no one else could do. Or Jesus Christ comes here, or some other empowered representative comes here to serve this very special function. So it's illustrated in the Avatar movie in a kind of a similar way, where things started to get out of hand on this planet, and these materialistic human beings from our planet, Earth, were making a mess of things on this planet called Pandora. Okay? So no one could rectify this except, prayers to this tree. Just like in the Vedic teaching, it's often the demigods, those who are below God that are connected to God, they have the good sense to pray to the Lord to help to set things right somehow or other. Okay, so this is in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's taught, it's another book from India in the Vedas, that the demigods prayed to the Lord, please come and set this planet right. Because 5,000 years ago, according to the story, there are a lot of demoniac forces here causing a lot of havoc. Kind of like what we got nowadays with these terrorists and all kinds of terror stuff going on. A lot of weird things happening, people shooting, mass shootings, and possibility of mass destruction with nuclear weapons. We could destroy ourselves 10 times over. Okay? So it's like when things get like that, only God can rectify this situation or empower somebody. So in the movie Avatar, Jake, the person that was paralyzed, and they gave him this avatar body that could do anything on the planet. See? So Jake was empowered by the tree. He actually prayed to the tree for some help. His prayer was kind of, I wouldn't say it wasn't very polished, but it was honest. And the tree accepted, the All Souls tree accepted it, and actually empowered him to assist to save this planet and rectify everything. Okay? And what's interesting is they brought forth the concept in the movie that the consciousness of this tree, it wasn't partial. It was impartial and would only do something to really set things in balance and back in order, because order was all the tree was interested in. And it's the same thing when in the teaching in the Vedas is God or Krishna came in different forms. Ram, different incarnations are named. Buddha came to rectify certain things in this world that were getting out of hand. Or Jesus Christ, or empowered Jesus Christ, come with a message. Okay? So I just find it really interesting that the same universal teaching about God and truth and our relationship with God and how God functions can be taught in different ways. And you don't even have to use the word God. In the movie, it was used the All Souls Tree. Was it Dewa? Dewa, I think was the name. Dewa. Consider that. The American Indians call God the Great Spirit. In India, they call it Krishna. See, the Muslims call it Allah. The Hindus call it Krishna. Different words for the same idea. And what I've noticed is it's not like this great consciousness, this oversoul, this super consciousness is so concerned what you name him. You don't have to particularly name him a certain name, because it's said that he has many names. He, she, he, you know. The father or the father, mother, many different names for the same principle. Okay? Same principle is basically everybody that has some relation and connection prays to this God. It's like they pray to Dewa, please set things straight. Pray to Krishna, set things straight. Pray to Jesus Christ, please set things straight. Pray to Allah. See? So that's our function, is a kind of a dependent one. You could say actually a codependent, and a codependent in a good way. A lot of people think codependency is bad. But maybe if we're codependent on another human being, but when we become codependent, where it's like being a co-pilot, because that great being needs us to function and to do things in this world. It does it through people. Okay? And we need the energy. We need that great power to be empowered to do something extraordinary in this world. It's like Jesus understood this, and he said, of my own self I could do nothing. Okay? So if we're not actually functioning like in that consciousness, that relationship of our codependence on this source, this great source of energy and potency, then we're not firing on all cylinders. We don't have so much strength. Then we're just it's kind of becoming, being ordinary instead of acting in extraordinary ways. Those who are conscious of this relationship and this connection often become empowered in extraordinary ways to do things that an ordinary person can't usually do because of the extra charge one gets, the extra empowerment. By the way, if anybody has any comments or questions, please put them up here on the Google chat or the Meerkat. So I hope this clarifies a little bit more about who God is and the function of God. I think what we talked about clarifies more of the function and our relationship to this source people call by different names. It clarifies how to use and be in relationship with this power. It's like Ernest Holmes. I was listening to his radio show, and he branded this show with this name or this relationship to the source. He says there is a power greater than you that we can use. See, that kind of sums up everything. And we must use it, actually, if we're going to live a happy life, if we're actually going to be liberated from many of our problems and difficulties that we can't really solve on our own power. So the source can help us. See, so in many different religions and spiritual teachings and philosophies, this relationship is taught, but maybe using a different conception, different idea, or different form to wrap this idea or this conception, see, of our relationship to this supreme source. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say. I don't want to make this video too long. So have a wonderful day, an awesome day, everybody. And if you have any comments or questions, please let me know.